All right, guys, welcome back to Beat the Game. This is Steve, and it's now time to talk about some aspect strategy for the leadership aspect. All right, so just a little disclaimer there is one more justice strategy, but because Sinister Motives is coming out and it's really going to enhance one of those traits, which is called justice traits. All right, so basically it's either Avenger, Guardian, and now Shield, and we'll probably have champions. So there's a bunch of stuff coming out in the next wave. So that's why I don't really want to do that video yet, because I'm just gonna have to redo it once that Sinister Motives comes out. So I'm gonna hold that off on that one, and then we're gonna jump into leadership ones, and then once those come out, then I'll be able to just push those in. So the first one we're going to talk about, and there's a bunch of different leadership strategies, archetypes, but the first one we're going to talk about is probably one of my favorites, which is Super Friends. And now, what is that? What is this Super Friends strategy? All right, well, Super Friends is very, very simple. It's basically finding one or two allies that are just going to get buffed to the max. Everything else is going to be kind of on the side. Okay, so you're going to use your hero stats just to attack, thwart, and just going to try to do the basic minimum with your hero. So your hero's not really the hero of the story, so it's kind of an excuse to play a different hero. So it's kind of fun. It's like playing a hero to play another hero. It's a weird strategy, but it's also very, very fun. Now, the downside of playing that type of strategy is you'll be putting a lot of cards that have no use unless you have those building blocks. So you want to find your key allies to start building as soon as possible. So if you're playing this strategy, if you try to build too many allies, I'm going to build like three allies that are going to be all pumped to the max. It can really backfire, because then you're like, oh shoot, something's gonna happen. Time travel hijinks is gonna get rid of it. So there's a lot of things that if you commit too much to one thing and aren't able to protect that one thing, if that one thing that you have goes away, well, it's gonna kind of wreck your day. And again, it's very possible that happens, when in the course of a game. But that being said, all right, the big pluses of that is your ally is going to be doing double what your hero can do, and then you want to do it over and over. And there's so many cards that kind of really focus on that super friend strategy. All right, so without further ado, let's talk about some of the best heroes that can bring that strategy to life. All right, it's hard to make a top five, because with this strategy, it's every hero can kind of play into this strategy super, super easy. So it's kind of hard to choose the best ones. But these are kind of the ones that kind of stand out by a long shot. And this is in no way or shape or form in any ranking order. It's just basically the synergies they have. So Captain America, obviously, because of his ability of living legend, he can reduce the cost of the first ally. He's an ally walking stick, or an ally helicarrier on your first ally. I think he's just amazing. I also think Carol Danvers. I've done decks where I basically stay in alter ego and just keep just playing her. The fact that she can draw some cards and then she just filters so fast. Carol Danvers is definitely one of the stronger characters for this type of build. The other one is Black Panther. Again, because he has so many double resource, you can easily put down some of those high cost allies, and just, again, once you have your Golden City, just kind of stay down and just really, really focus on just having those allies do all the work while you guys chill. And then it's going to be funny, but it's going to be these multi-aspect characters like Spider-Woman. And Spider-Woman is another amazeballs character for this, because she can pull from two aspects. So if you put leadership and aggression together, now she has access to all the upgrades for allies and aggression, and she also has all the access to all the leadership cards. So very, very efficient here. And the first time he's going to make this list, and he's probably going to make it a couple times with the leadership aspect, but Adam Warlock, that's right, Adam Warlock, because he can pull from everything, he can get every ally from every color. And I think it's so you can definitely build a very cool Super Friends deck with Adam Warlock. Again, kind of like Spider-Woman, has access to every card that you would want to have. He can only get one copy, and the good thing with allies is you can only have one copy, so this is not a hindrance for my friend Adam Warlock. Now, it goes to show, like, every hero, like, even most people are like, oh, Hulk, no, is that good for Hulk? Yeah, it's good for Hulk, because Hulk can just block. Hulk doesn't need to attack, he just defends, and then even though he doesn't have a big hand size, it doesn't matter because he's got those triple resources. You can afford to stay in banner if you have some of those allies come out and just manage threat for you. So, like I said, I don't think there's one character that is not good with this strategy. Like, no one is not good with this because they all have abilities and alter egos. They're all super solid. So every hero, even you, Valkyrie, which, I don't like. Like I said, these are just, I think, the ones that are the most efficient or fast to put allies out. But every single body else can just play into the strategy super easy. And that's one of the things about leadership is it just fits everyone. It's just super solid all around. And it's definitely the strongest strategy out there. Leadership is the strongest aspect, and the Super Friends strategy just makes it it's just fun to play. So you don't like Hulk? Okay, play Hulk and then just play, let's say, Iron Man as an ally, and then boom, 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 boom. All right, so let's look at some of the best cards for this strategy, or the best allies for this Super Friends strategy. All right, so I said top 5, but I think I'm going to go with 6 because it just makes perfect sense. All right, so I think the number one ally for a Super Friends build is Iron Man. Why? Because everything you put on him is free. That is the only reason why Iron Man is the best ally for this strategy, because every upgrade you put on him is completely free. So if you're going to be building a Super Friends, definitely want to be including this tin can. All right, the next one that I think is very powerful is Yondu. Now, Yondu is a Guardian, but he doesn't take any retaliate. So it's very hard to say which one's the best between these two. This one, yeah, he doesn't take retaliate. He's got ranged. So he's got a lot of things working for him. So these are kind of tied for like the best spot here. Because with all the weapons that you can include, but Yondu, you actually have to pay for them. So that's why I was like, Iron Man gets a lot of value for free. This one, he can just keep doing it. You don't have to worry about him dying. So he's very solid. All right, after that, it's kind of a tie between the other ones for like second place. So I'm just going to go out and say it. So Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill is so powerful in a Super Friend deck. He's got 4 health. He does cost 5, but every time he defeats a minion, you remove 2 threat from the scheme. So you're attacking, dealing damage, and you're removing threat when you kill minions. I'm like, what more could you want in a leadership ally? He is just so good. Aside from that, the ones I really enjoy, and it's kind of hard to decide which one is better, is Rocket Raccoon. I know he's not blue, and you're like, Steve, well, I can't play that. Yes, you can play Rocket. All you need is a make the call. So even if you're not playing a Guardian character, you can still play Rocket Raccoon, and then just make the call for him, because make the call says pay the printed cost of an ally in any player's discard pile, put that ally into play, but you can only play him from your hand if you have him, and this is put into play and it's not play him. So that's why there's a big difference. Anyway, we're going to go back into that later. So yeah, Beta Ray Bill. Again, these are more on killing minions, but the fact that he gets a +3 attack when he attacks a minion is just bonkers. Add a couple of good upgrades on that, and he is a Super Friend that you want to keep around. All right, the other two, in the maybe third place, I love Giant Man because again he gets a +2 attack, and I love Ronin. Ronin can become really really powerful with this strategy because again he gets that bonus +1/+1. So if you inspire Ronin, he becomes a 3/4, and you're like, wow, a 3/4. That's crazy. That's better than 90% of the hero stats out there. So the fact that the allies are just as strong, if not stronger, than the actual heroes, and that you can actually play into this strategy is super fun. All right, so there you go. So those are, I think, the best allies that you want to build off of these. All right, let's look at some of the other allies that are actually very efficient that you can also build off. All right, so here are more. Here's a couple of more allies that you can build off of. Black Knight. Black Knight, if you're dealing with a scenario that has tons of tough, I'm looking at you, Defense Tower, Thanos, Loki, anyone who keeps recurring tough. What's it called? Crossbones. Being able to build Black Knight up is just super efficient because then once he's inspired, he's got a 3 piercing. He kills most of the minions, and if you can put more stuff on him with overkill and stuff like that, he can just become a really good efficient minion killer, or even he just goes through the boss like a boss. All right, and then I have Vision. Again, Vision needs a little bit more resources. But the fact that you can spend a lightning and then increase his stats by +2, either +2 thwart or +2 attack, makes him a basic 3/4, whichever you choose. I think is very good and definitely an ally worth playing in this type of strategy. The other two, again, kind of like Rocket Raccoon. I don't like talking too much about gray cards, but when I'm doing the leadership thing. But this is Groot. Once you start putting a what's it called there? The combat suit there on him, and he goes up to 8. You can dress up Groot to go up to almost 9, 10 health if you're just using some of the cards we're going to be talking about in a minute. So, yeah, again, same thing. If you want Groot and you're not a Guardian, just make the call and go get him from your discard pile. And then Groot is going to be able to block for you like a boss. And it's going to be super solid. And the other one isn't gray, is Cosmo. So Cosmo, if you've never seen Doctor Strange Cosmo decks, well, yeah, just start looking. At any type of time that you have a way to manipulate a top deck, or you know what a top deck. So examples of this is Doctor Strange's Invocation, the Infinity Stone deck. It's the Side Scheme deck. It's what's the other ones that have special decks there? I think those are the main ones, and I might be forgetting one or two there. But anyway, so these are like, you know what they're coming, you know what's at. So Cosmo never takes consequence damage, so you can equip a bunch of stuff on him and just be like, yeah, I could do this all day, all dog. I can do this all dog. All right, I kill myself. All right, now let's take a look at some of the cards that really help out in this aspect that you want to play. All right, so talking about the Super Friends, well, there's a reason why we call them Super Friends, because we can put a bunch of equipment on them. So let's take a look at some of the best equipments we can put. And just a disclaimer, you don't need to put all of the equipments on them, but it's very fun when you can play. We have a few really cool equipments, and some of them are restricted to the type of character you're playing. But once you pass that boundary, because there's always ways to fix that, depending on what character you're playing. All right, so first things first, let's look at the one that I think is pretty solid, is Comms Implant. So Comms Implant gives a +1 health bonus. You can only attach to a Guardian ally, so you could use Cosmo, and then he gets a +1 hit point and a +1 thwart. So then Cosmo or Groot or Rocket Raccoon or any other of the Guardians, Yondu, now they can remove 3 threat. So that's pretty darn solid. So again, and if you're a Guardian and you want to play that on Iron Man, well, if you have an honorary Guardian, you can just throw that on him. So those are some of the best ones. The Power Gloves. And this is another one that's just specific if you are an Avenger ally. So if you're playing this strategy and you're an Avenger and you want to get Yondu, Again, Honorary Avenger. Put that on Yondu. And then now he can become, and now whenever he does stuff, he deals an extra damage. So if you can find ways to give him more activations, then he deals all this extra 1 damage. So very, very, very solid. The Reinforced Suit, again, I think it's pretty cool because it gives your allies extra health. The thing is, like, if you're playing Yondu, or if you got Cosmo, or you got the ones that don't take any consequence damage, then you don't really need to put. So if your focus is, okay, I'm going to build Iron Man and Yondu for this game. All right, cool. Well, Reinforced Suit is right away. Iron Man is good for. Reinforced Suit is good for Iron Man, but you don't need to have one for Yondu as well. So all right, cool, boom, done. So it always depends, like, on the allies you want to build. Oh, if I just want to build a crazy Cosmo, well, Cosmo also doesn't need the Reinforced Suit. So that's some little things that you can see. All right, then let's talk about the Sky Cycle. Again, you got to be a Guardian, but this gives your ally a second activation. So if you have one of these power allies, let's say you have Ronin. Ronin, if he just gets a Sky Cycle, then he can actually be a 2/3. He can deal 6 damage. That's super, super solid. If you have the other one, it's 6 damage and then +2 1 damage. So again, amazing. Inspired, this is no restrictions, so this is probably the best one that you can run. It just gives your ally +1/+1. It's just extremely efficient. It's super solid. It's inspiring. You want to play that on everyone that you want to super friend. And then the final one is the Laser Blaster. So this gives +1 attack only to Guardian allies, but it gives the Overkill trait. So giving that ally Overkill is super important, because then you're not just wasting a big attack. Who doesn't need it? Well, Rocket doesn't really need it because he already has Overkill, but still, being able to put him with a double Overkill and a +1 attack, so now all of a sudden he's attacking for 5 with Overkill, is just better. And it's very thematic to have Rocket with some weapons. Now, again, I'm going to go into some of the gray stuff. I kind of normally do that at the end, but again, Honorary Avenger and Honorary Guardian, depending on what kind of character you're playing, is a definite must. It just gives that +1 hit point. It gives him the trait that you want. If it's the opposite trait, let's say Iron Man, he needs to be a Guardian, or Yondu needs to be an Avenger, depending if you're playing what character you're playing. And just giving that +1 health is an extra activation. So if your super friend is attacking for 4 or thwarting for 3, and you get an extra activation out of that, that's just money. It's free money for 0. It's 0 for 4 damage, or it's 0 for 3 threat. It's super, super efficient. And I think one of the favorite weapons or upgrades for allies that they finally decided to print was the Sidearm. Giving ranged, +1 attack and ranged to one of your super friends is just broken. Because now you can kill Zola at a distance. And then if you have an enemy with Retaliate 4 or 5, you're like, don't care, doesn't matter, because I got ranged, so I can shoot you from afar. So this is super, super efficient. Again, you kind of want to pick and choose depending on what allies you want to build. And like, you can just build, I'm just going to build some Avenger allies, or I'm going to build the Guardian allies, or I'm going to and you can do it however you want, depending if you're an Avenger or a Guardian. Now, the great thing is, even if you're a Guardian, you can kind of play everything. But if you're an Avenger and you want to play Guardians, again, you want to have that call for aid. All right, so these are some of the finest upgrades. All right, let's just put these up there because these are some of the cards that you definitely want to play. All right, now let's look at some of the events and support cards that you want to look at too. All right, so let's look at some of the best cards that we can play for support. If we're going to be playing these allies that we really want to use, again, and it doesn't even have to be sometimes these allies. Sometimes it could just be your signature ally. When we think about one of the best signature allies in the game, we have what's-her-face, Vivian, and we have Black Cat. Those are two of the best allies. Well, one because it doesn't take consequence damage. The other one because her stats are just so darn high. But Having being able to play cards like Command Team, which is a great new card. It is a support card and it gives you 3 command counters. You can just exhaust it, and remove a command counter, and then ready an ally. So it's basically 3 extra activations for 2 costs. Once you got some, even if you only have 1 ally that's super built, and you can put 3 of these in your deck, but once you have 1 ally that's super built, and you can have 3 extra activations, so plus all the cards we're going to show that did also extra activations, it's just super solid. Now, this one, a lot of people I don't think about this card, but this is a very healthy card for a super friend. This is when an ally with a weapon upgrade makes an attack. Discard that target practice, and that ally gets +2 attack. So it's a 0 for 2. So a 0 for 2 is very, very efficient. You can actually put 3 of these on the table. So think about it. If you're attacking, let's say, with Yondu, who's got ranged, and then all of a sudden, or even Rocket, and then you can give Rocket +6, +3, so +9 attack and overkill. It's just crazy. It's just super, super fun. And target practice is a skill. So again, it just puts on the table. It's a 0 cost thing, thins out your deck. This card is not seen enough play. But again, in a Super Friends build, you should definitely be running a whole bunch of these. All right, the other ones is, again, because sometimes you're going to want to activate your guys a couple more times. Team Training is an easy card. Again, it gives all of your allies an extra activation. Super solid. And then the other ones are more thematic if you're depending on what you're playing. So Guardians of the Galaxy, again, these are the team cards, and Mighty Avengers. If you're only playing Avenger characters, done. Mighty Avengers. If you're only playing Guardians, definitely include a Guardians, because every time you play an upgrade on one of your characters, you'll be able to draw a card. Now, if you haven't seen Brent has this super fun Nebula deck that he plays. I think, is it Nebula, or I don't know. It's I forget who he played it with. I think he played it with Rocket, or he played it with a bunch of characters. But it's basically Guardians and just playing thing and just tinkering and just, oh no, it was with Rocket Raccoon. Anyway, super fun deck, and you're just drawing cards every time. And once you put Iron Man and you just put all the upgrades on him for free, and you're just drawing tons of cards, it's pretty fun. You just got to make sure that Iron Man's a Guardian. But yeah, so a lot of these like fun combos that you can kind of play with that. All right, now let's look at some of the event cards that we want to start talking about, because these event cards, I'm just going to bring this up just a wee bit to give myself a little bit more room. All right, some of the best event cards that we have, they're a little bit thematic, but I think if you're going to be playing a Super Friends deck, and if you're going to be looking for like Iron Man, I think it's very good to put 1 or 2 Call for Aids in your deck, because that is going to ensure that you are going to find that ally quickly. And then you can start building your deck around that. So again, and if it's never a dead card, because you're probably going to be running maybe a couple of buffer allies, but I think a Call for Aid, super, super easy. All right, good stuff. The other one I think is, let's talk about this, is Teamwork. So sometimes you have that mega powerful ally, but he's only got 1 hit point left. But now I can exhaust my super ally and my hero to add his stat to my activation, which is super, super solid. It's a very good card where your hero and the guys work together. All right, there's a couple of, I'm going to go with the non-aspect and the non-affiliate cards first. All right, so get ready. So this is very good with let's say you're playing Yondu, anybody who doesn't take any consequence damage, and just get ready. Just have some fun with that. Boom. And just ready your hero for free. So I like the command tower to command team because it stays on the table and I can use it when I need it. But get ready is just, it's a 0 cost. It's efficient and gives you another activation for your ally. So can't go wrong with that. Ready for Action is something also a lot of people don't play a lot. But Ready for Action, it gives an ally a tough status card. So once you have, let's say, a Sky Cycle on one of your Avenger guys, all right, perfect. Thanos wants to attack me for 75. All right, well, I'll just block with my ally. He's tough. Merry Christmas. All right, so that's super fun, and it's a way to keep your allies alive and have them you serve double duty. So again, that's really good. All right. This one you can only play if you're a guardian and only once per round, but it's welcome aboard. So if you are a guardian, reducing the cost of some of these expensive allies by 2 can go a long way. So it's not that bad. The other one is Inspiring Presence. You can only play this if you're an Avenger, but if you're an Avenger, just heal a damage and ready. I'm like, that's awesome. It's a free activation for the 1 cost, which is very, very good. And then again, if you're an Avenger, United We Stand, you can only play it if you're an Avenger, but you get to heal depending on the stage number. So if you're playing on Standard, you heal for 1. If you're playing on Expert, you start on stage 2 normally, so then you would heal 2, and then you can heal 3 allies for 1 if you're on the final stage of the boss. Now, remember scenarios like the Wrecking Crew, Kang, Loki, Hela, that only have 1 stage number, that is only going to heal for 1. So again, depending on what you're playing, just keep that in mind. And finally, let's talk about some of the basic cards that you definitely want to think about while playing. The first one is First Aid. If you're going to be playing Super Friends, not all the Super Friends have no consequential damage. So putting out a couple of First Aids. Oh, and I did forget another one in the leadership one. What's it called? This one there, Innovation. Yeah. In the leadership build, Innovation is just 1, and then you heal a damage from an ally. And I forgot about that one. But yeah, First Aid and Innovation are definitely cards you want to be including a couple of copies of. This is max once per deck, but I would definitely recommend putting 1 or 2 First Aids for your Super Friend allies. All right, the other one is Ways to Ready. So Earth's Mightiest Heroes, again, if you're an Avenger and your super ally is an Avenger, giving your super ally who does better than you more activations is just going to win you the game that much faster. And finally, CITT. So CITT, you just spend 2 resources to ready a Guardian character. So again, you have to have a Guardian character to ready. But again, you can sometimes 2 resources to ready and deal like 7 or 8 extra damage is just money. You can't go wrong with that. These are 3 cards that I don't think really fit this build. And it's kind of funny. Like, team building exercise, again, it can fit, but it's not, you don't want to use it to just pay for your ally. I think it's good, let's say if you're playing Thor or something like that, yes, put it in your deck. But again, if you're just doing it to try to get a rebate from an ally, I don't think team building exercise is going to be efficient enough, because you're only going to be wanting to build a couple of those allies. So for me, team building is a big maybe, really depending on the character. Same thing for like Avengers Tower. We're not going to have 4 allies. We're just going to focus on the 1 and 2 that we really want to keep. So having extra allies is not going to really matter. And then same thing for Nowhere. We're not going to be putting that many allies out. So again, it depends. You might have the 2 big allies, and then you might have these ones. But again, you can only play it if you're a Guardian. So all in all, this is the strategy. For me, Nowhere, you can, but you don't really need it. So again, this strategy is all about building up a super friend. Your hero comes second, but yes, you still want to be using your hero cards or your hero abilities when you can, and just kind of keep stuff under control, because this is more of a combo-y build. But once your combo is set up and your ally is like the bomb and he's just a beast, then it just goes so much faster, and then the game just goes, it's just like an easy ride. Most of the times, like I said, when you're playing these super friend decks, don't be afraid to flip down to Alter Ego, get more cards, try to build up faster. If you have no threat on the main, staying down the first turn is sometimes the best thing you can do for your character, and then you just build. So, and this is definitely a type of deck that you want to be building consistently. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this first leadership aspect strategy. We're going to be playing it out with a bunch of different heroes. I think I'll just play one Guardian, one Avenger, so you guys can kind of see the difference, how that works. And we'll just play these two characters to have some fun with that. And yeah, and just building off that super friend. All right, so guys, keep on playing World Champions, and I hope this video will help you use leadership to beat the game. Ciao, ciao.